Hi everyone, this is Nikki Rowland for Hip Kit, and today I'm making a layout for Mixed Media Monday, and I'm using the January kits. So I have the main kit, the embellishment kit, the pocket life kit, and the colour kit too. I'm obviously focusing on mixed media because it is Mixed Media Monday. I have cut a cut file from one of the Pink Fresh Studio pattern papers, that really lovely striped one. So I made sure I cut it in the direction so that all of my hearts went in the same way. The hearts cut file is an exclusive cut file from Hip Kit, but you can see that it was a whole background, and what I've done is I've taken my knife tool on the silhouette and I've chopped right across it to make it smaller, and then I'm just going to trim it down with some scissors later. So I thought I would attempt to mix some white acrylic paint up to make the same colours that's on the striped Pink Fresh Studio sheet. I'm doing this in super duper high speed because when I watched it back at normal, my normal speeded up speed, it was so boring because I'm literally just mixing paint. So let me just quickly talk you through this process. I've used white acrylic paint that I've just had in my stash for ages, and I have pulled out lots of different Lindy's Magicals from prior colour kits. So I have used the January colour kit. I used the green one and the pink one. I didn't use the silver, but I've gone back through my stash. Literally the whole lot has come from Hip Kit, and I've pulled out all these different colours, and I managed to mix them very softly with the white paint and create the same soft pastel colours that were on that Pink Fresh Studio sheet to create a rainbow. So it literally just took my inspiration all from that striped sheet, and I added tiny amounts of the powder because the powders are extremely pigmented and very intense. So I just wanted to make sure that my colours were pale like the paper, rather than super duper intense. So if you saw my previous layout using the mixed media kit for January, you can see the green is super duper bright lime green. Well, that's the same green powder that I've used to mix that third stripe in, the really pale, super pale green. So that shows how much of a different effect you can get with these powders by mixing just a very tiny amount. I got a really lovely pale mint green. It's beautiful. Okay, so I kept offering up my cut file to the paint stripes that I was putting onto my background, and while I was doing that, I decided I didn't like the cut file over the top of the paint without the hearts filled in. So while my acrylic paint was drying, I went and cut another one of the of the cut files, but I just did the outline only. I did the middle bits. I carried on with the middle bits, do you understand what I mean? I took the middle diamonds, I left those in, but I filled in the hearts effectively, so that my hearts would be filled in with white, but the diamonds would still be cut out. So, I've just basically backed my cut file onto white cardstock, and that makes me so much happier. The white hearts look so much better than what they did when they were just holes, not backed. I love the way they're looking, and I thought I would I kept all of the hearts that came out of the middle of the cut file, the original cut file, and I have just popped some of those back in on some of the hearts, and I'm going to raise them up on foam pads as well. So the whole cut file has been raised on foam pads. I forgot to mention that after my acrylic paint was dry, I then ran each stripe through the sewing machine multiple times with just white thread. So I think 3 times I've stitched through every stripe. So you can't really see it on the video, but you should be able to see it in the close-ups at the end, and it does look really pretty. And the colours look a bit more intense on the video than what they look in real life as well. So hopefully you'll get the full picture of how they look, how the layout looks at the end. Okay, so I'm really liking how my layout's looking. with the stripes and the hearts and my photo, and the filled in hearts, and I thought I'd also add some of that black and white striped paper. That's one of my favourite ones in this kit. I thought I'd add a tiny amount at the bottom and the top, so I had a strip down the side of my trimmer from the last layout I made, so I thought, oh perfect, and I just cut it in half, so I had 2 narrow strips, and I've stuck one at the top and one at the bottom. So that kind of adds a pop of drama and is a big contrast to all the pastel colours that I've got going on the layout. So there I am, just raising up my some of my coloured hearts on foam pads, so they you can see the shadow behind them and a little bit of the white shining through, so it's a really nice effect actually. And I wanted to make sure I'd got them on all lines, so I did that. I've coloured in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them all together, so a good old odd number. I like an odd number. It's something to do with the rule of 3, even though it's odd. I don't know, even though I've got 5. I'm sure there's some theory behind it, I'm just not quite sure what it is. So right now I wanted to back my photo with that fabulous silver tape by Heidi Swap. That was in, I think, the Pocket Life kit. So what I've done is I've taken a journaling card that I probably won't use, and I have added tape to the 4 edges and then trimmed, and what I'm doing right now is mitering the corners, so I'm just cutting them into triangles, because I think that when you have a square like that, mitering the corners always looks much better. So I've done that, and now I can just stick my photo on top, and I have this fabulous silver backed photo. So that was cool. I was happy that I thought of doing that. I do like a bit of glitter, so I wanted to get that tape in. I had thought about putting the tape at the top and the bottom of the layout with the black and white stripes, but actually I figured I would just mount my photo on it, and it gave the pop of silver that I wanted. So I'm now to the point where I need to start embellishing my layout, so I'm just going through my whole kit. There's tons of it, and it's all beautiful, and I am just going through figuring out what I might like to use. Now this layout is pretty busy already, with the big wide coloured stripes in the background, the hearts, plus the photos, plus the black and white and the sewing, so I've got loads going on already. So I wanted this, obviously layout screamed out for embellishing colour on colour, so that's what I'm planning to do, although I've just stuck some pink flowers at the bottom corner of the photo that have yellow flowers as well, but you'll see in a moment I left them there for a bit to see if they would grow on me, but actually they were offending me too much, so I've moved them and discarded, because it wasn't working with the 2 different colours, and I felt like I just needed to have pink there. So the black and white leaves, there's a few of those in the floral ephemera pack, and they're fair game, even though that's not pink on pink, it's black and white, and that's good, that's fine, I think I can live with that. So I've put those in a couple of different places on the layout, so I've got one to the left of the photo and one at the bottom right of the photo, and they look good. I'm happy with the way that those are looking, even though we're not strictly sticking with colour on colour here. And I love that bow. It's kind of like a corally colour. It goes well with the pale pinks on the cut file. So I have, I'm going to stick that in on the bottom corner of the photo too. Now I'm just adding my title. So I wanted to go for Love You More, but I realised that I would have yellow. The Love You More would all be in yellow, and that didn't. I wasn't too happy with that. Anyway, I then noticed that there was another love on the Pink Fresh Puffy Phrase sticker sheet, and that was pink, which is perfect because I needed a pink one. So I've got Pink Love and You More are both in the yellow. So I'm just carrying on, putting everything together. I'm just making sure that I get, I say I don't want to cover up too much. I don't want to go too crazy with the embellishments on this layout because there's so much going on already. But my instinct is to always add loads because I just love embellishments and ephemera and frames and all sorts of things. So my instinct was to keep adding and adding and adding, but then I also need to learn when to stop and when the layout is done. So I kept kind of thinking to myself, do I add more? Can I leave it as it is? It felt a bit bare. So I I carried on adding the floral ephemeras, and now I added a frame underneath my photo. Again, I'm sticking with the whole colour on colour thing, and I've come in with some small embellishments too. So some puffy hearts from the Pink Fresh Studio phrase stickers. They had some really cute puffy hearts on, so I've added a few of those. I've just dotted them around. Unfortunately, the hearts are a different shaped heart to the one on the cut file, so they didn't sit perfectly with me, but I decided in the end I could live with it. I just had to be careful where I placed them. So they were good in the middle of the hearts where there was white space all around them, not so good on the edges of the hearts. I've tried a few, but in the end I think I've moved all of them so that they're all within the white space or within the heart or completely off the heart rather than sitting on the edge, because it just didn't look right with the hearts being two different shapes. You might think that I'm being a bit too detail conscious there, but you know, when something just bothers you, and I felt the need just to sort that little problem out. Okay, so I'm still just keeping going. I'm sticking all my ephemera down, and I wanted to get that bow in place before I moved it around anymore. So I stuck a whole load of glossy accents on it, and then tried to put something on top of it so it would stay still, but nothing would stand on it. So it's just gonna have to dry without me knocking it. I think that's the problem, but it did in the end, and it's fine. It's all stuck down and not going anywhere now, which is good. So I've added some of the chipboard flair. A couple of those have gone onto the layout. So there's a yellow one that says Celebrate Today over on the right hand side. Just adding some puffy stickers and also going through the normal ephemera. So there's the floral ephemera and then there's the regular ephemera. So I'm going through that now to see if there's anything else in there that will work on this layout. So there's not a huge amount because most of my layout is done at this point, and I don't want to add too much more. As I said, I was very conscious of not adding too much more. So I've just pulled out a few things. So this circle that I'm adding now says small things, great love. So that went well with my layout. I added a puffy sticker in the middle that just said XO, and then I thought that needed building up a little bit, so I added a flower, and then I've obviously got the heart below that's filled in, and then I'm adding a tiny thing over the top, a little label from the ephemera pack that says just for today. That's fine. And then over on the right with the yellow, I'm adding this makes me happy tag, and then I've got some flowers there plus the circle flare that says celebrate today, and then the white puffy sticker underneath that just says today. Plus I have one of those puffy hearts in that section too. So you can see that I'm putting my coloured clusters together, and I'm feeling like the one with the bow, this is a very pale pink cluster, needs a little bit more. So I'm kind of thinking about what I can put there, come across a minty green coloured chipboard flare and add that instead. So I've got one at the top that says happy memory, and then one at the bottom that's more of an aqua colour that says us. Yeah, totally got distracted by the blues at this point and didn't build up any more on my pink. So now I'm just coming in with some silver thread. So I wanted to bring in a bit more silver because I've got the silver behind the photo. So I've just brought in some silver thread twiddles, and I've put one behind the yellow cluster. I'm adding one under the pink cluster, and I add another one over on the left of the photo under the blue cluster. So that's looking really lovely. That kind of pulls the layout all together, brings a flow across the layout in the silver as well on 3 different places, plus behind my photo. So that all works really, really well. This cluster on the left didn't look quite right. It wasn't tucked under enough stuff. So therefore I could really see the middle of my twiddle, so that wasn't working for me, so I felt the need to find a puffy heart to go over the top of that, and that solved that problem perfectly. So again, that's on the Pink Fresh Studio puffy stickers, phrase stickers, that's it. Okay, so I'm nearly done at this point. I considered adding some splatters, but I'd obviously mixed up all of my paint earlier and left it to dry, and then I'd got rid of all my paint, so I'd got nothing left. I would have had to remix all of those colours to add some splatters, so I decided to go without splatters. So I've just handwritten in my journaling, and then as a final thought, I thought I'd add a few of these really lovely glitter enamel hearts. They're from the Pink Paisley Lucky Us collection, so I'm just adding a few of those in. The minty green ones were a perfect colour, as were the light pink ones, but there were no other colours on that set that really went with the layout, so I just stuck with those two colours. Okay, so that is me done. Thank you so much for joining me today for Mixed Media Monday. My assignment was to create a rainbow. I definitely think I did that. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me. That was Niki Rowland for Hip Kit Club, and don't forget you can get all of the beautiful Hip Kit Club kits on the website. Bye!